All right, dude, you just dropped into video number 3. And you can probably tell from the dude that I'm a child of the 80s. Pastor Brad here. I'm an 80s Christian metal musician. I'm a teaching pastor. And I'm so glad to have you with me here in part 3, the final installment of this little mini-series comparing Jesus with Noah. You know, you can go through the Old Testament and look at all of the main characters and see glimmerings and foreshadowings of Jesus' ministry in just about all of them. It's really amazing. In this series, we've been looking at, of course, how Noah foreshadowed Christ. In the first video, we saw that both Jesus and Noah, God used both of them to bring rest to his people. In the second video, we saw how both Noah and Jesus were beacons of light in a very dark world.
That's awesome.
And today we're going to wrap this up with what I think is just a really powerful thought, and that is that both Jesus and Noah were faithful servants, even though they walked very lonely roads at times in their life.
And then here's the third one. Both of them walked very lonely paths in faithfulness to God. Both of them experienced genuine loneliness, but they walked through that time in faithfulness to God. There will be times, friends, when you will have to walk by yourself for God, with God. There will be times when it's like Paul said, when you've done everything you can to stand, stand. There will be times when you won't be able to convince someone about God or the righteousness of your cause or your decision, and no one will understand, and you just stand. You walk with God. Noah and Jesus both experienced this. Genesis chapter 6, verses 13 through 18. God said to Noah, catch that. It doesn't say he said to Noah's neighborhood, or to Noah's family, or to Noah and his wife, or to Noah and his kids. No. God said to Noah, I'm going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. Have you ever been saddled with news that is huge, and you're the only one that knows it? And no one that you tell it to could even begin to understand it? God is blessing Noah, but he's saddling him with some huge stuff here. Okay? You're the guy, Noah. I'm telling you, the world's going to end. But don't worry, because I'm going to take care of you. Wow. I mean, I just think it's powerful to put yourself in his shoes and feel that. And he goes on and he says, and I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. And then he tells him, I want you to build an ark. And my mind thinks, what's an ark? Does he even know what an ark is? Has anyone built one before? There's no manual. There's no way. Build it out of cypress wood. I guess it was plentiful. I don't know. I've never really seen a lot of cypress wood in my day. Coat it with pitch, inside and out. And then here are the dimensions. Make it 450 feet long. That's a football field and a half. That's a long boat. 75 feet wide, 45 feet high. Put a roof on it. Finish it to within 18 inches. Build a big door in the side, and put 3 decks on it, a lower, middle, and top decks. Noah, I want you to do this. And then I'm going to bring a flood, and I'm going to destroy the earth. But in verse 18, he does say, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and then he adds, your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. There's so many things we're not told. We don't know how old Noah was at this time. We know he was 600 when he entered the ark. You ever watched a special, like a History Channel special, like on the making of the Titanic? I mean, they have thousands of workers building this thing. And I know it was a whole different kind of construction. It was steel and all that kind of thing. But I just think of the massive amount of labor that went into building that one boat. We don't know how old Noah was, but you know there's also no record of anyone offering to help. Not one. Not even his sons. I mean, just in our humanity, I think we like to fill in that gap and just assume surely his boys helped him carry a couple boards. Right? We just think, how could his sons not do something for him? But there's no record. There's no record of it. And, I mean, can you imagine being Noah and saying, hey, boys, you're the guy at the end of the block in your whole neighborhood, and you're building this boat in the desert, and you're telling everybody that the world's going to end, and that's why you're building it. How many of you's children would be out there swinging the hammer with you? Mine would be saying, Dad, I think I'm gonna move to the town next door. Because my friends, they think you're nuts. I don't know. We're just speculating. There's nothing in the text that says it. But I just get this image that Noah was very alone in all of this. Very alone. But he's faithful. And he walks through it. And he does it. And however long it took him to build it, he built it. Peter, in 2 Peter, I believe it's chapter 2, Peter in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5, calls Noah a preacher of righteousness. Now, the word preacher there means proclaim. He proclaimed righteousness. Doesn't necessarily mean he had a pulpit, but he proclaimed righteousness with his life by being the only guy on the block with an ark. By being the guy being faithful to God. The conversation had to come up. Why are you building it, Noah? Because God's going to destroy the world because of your wickedness. And remember, he's talking to people whose every inclination of their heart was only wicked all the time. So they're not, it's amazing. I don't know how long it took him to build it. A long time. He's a preacher of righteousness. There's not a record of a single convert. Not one person said, oh, okay, I get it, Noah. I'm a believer. Nobody. But Noah was faithful. He never wavered. He fulfilled his mission. And because he fulfilled his mission, the result was life preserved on the earth. We're still here. Noah comes out on the other side and a brand new covenant is made. And we have this beautiful symbol of a rainbow today of God's faithfulness and his promise that he'll never destroy the earth again by flood. Beautiful. And all those people that create murals for nurseries and churches have a job. It's beautiful. Really, I know that's kind of silly, but you know what I'm saying? Good things. When you walk through dark times and lonely times with God and you're faithful, it may be hard, but good things come at the end of it. Isaiah 53, we're back to Isaiah. We're talking about Jesus again here. Did Jesus ever experience loneliness? Did Jesus ever have to walk a hard path by himself? Isaiah 53:3. He was despised and he was rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering, like one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised and we esteemed him not. I want you to think about the faithfulness of Jesus walking a lonely road, the Passion of the Christ. My favorite line in that movie is in the middle of that scene where he's carrying the cross and someone comes to help him, and I believe it's his mother in the scene, and he says, "Behold, I make all things new." And I cry every time I see it because he did. He made everything new. And I just don't want anyone to leave here today thinking that the gospel, don't cheapen the gospel to fire insurance. Don't cheapen the gospel to saying it just keeps you out of hell or whatever. Understand that Jesus came to give you newness of life. Brand new. Start over. Old things are gone. New things have come. The Spirit of God lives inside of you. You're his child. And you can be brand new today. And so, if you're not sure that you're sure that you're sure that you know Christ today, come today. We're going to give you an opportunity to come and pray. And know, when you see that, understand there's nothing you can do that can separate you from God's love. He did that before you even repented. He did that just to make it possible for you to come into the family. How awesome is that? Guys, let me just wrap up by summarizing this. Noah and Jesus were sources of rest. We may not be the source of rest, but we know the one who is, and we can point to him. God may not be asking you to build an ark in your backyard, but he's absolutely asking you to build bridges of friendship with people who don't know him. I'm praying that God will fill me and that God will fill you with an awareness that we need to be bridge builders, friendship makers with people who don't know Christ. If you don't know someone that doesn't know Christ, look for someone. Pray that God will bring someone into your life that you can start to do lunch with, that coworker that you've never done lunch with, that neighbor that you've never really striven to get to know, that family member that needs to know Christ. Pray that God will open doors for you. Both Noah and Jesus were beacons of light in their world, and Jesus calls us to be that too. To shine for him, to live a life of holiness and of love, like Jesus. And both of them walked lonely paths of faithfulness and brought about the love of God, the goodness of God as a result. And we can do that too.